Hi, this is John Goyak, founder of Reframe Your Game and chairman of the Goyak Group. And I'm here tonight to talk to you about a new and really exciting offering we have, which is called the Corporate Entrepreneur. And what I mean by that is, how do you access your inner spirit, your inner strength, all of the talent you have to be able to apply it in place, in situ, in your corporation, to implement entrepreneurial power, spirit, passion into your corporation to make a difference. Why is that important? I think it's important because we've seen massive changes, massive shifts in the market. Markets have changed wildly, customers have changed, everything's changed. And the buying habits have changed, the acquisition pipelines have changed. And so the question becomes, how do you show up and be of more value to you and to your corporation so you make a difference? We've all seen the layoffs, we've all seen all this sort of stuff, and people living in fear. And truthfully, how do you react when you try to go for the game ball in fear? You don't, you drop the ball. That's the way it works. And so the question becomes, how do you get certainty? Because it's about certainty about what you want. And I'm going to ask you, when the last time, today probably, when the last time you sat through a meeting that went nowhere, to listen to somebody who didn't know what they were talking about, was so frustrated, you went home, kicked the cat, didn't go to your kid's soccer game, whatever, that's not a good place to be, because you know that bleeds over into everything you do. Your wife doesn't like that, your kids don't like that, and it just puts stress everywhere. You don't go to the gym, you sit there, work late at nights, you probably drink, maybe. That happens, and your relationship with God or all your folks around you, your circle, is really hurts. So the question becomes, how do you, given all this craziness around us, succeed and get what you really want? Well, the first thing is decide where you are is just so friggin' painful, and you can really take an inventory about how this is not what you want, and that just going through the motions doesn't serve you. Because inside, I always told my clients, inside of every person on your team is the young kid who wanted to go make a difference, split the atom, do whatever it is, but there's that kid, and you, by not tapping that experience, by not tapping that passion, you're missing a bet, my friend. And so I'd ask you to just look into yourself and see that, and then take a look at what the possibility is. What could you have? How would you have more control, more influence, more money, more power, be able to change and make things happen, more impact? Because that's what really makes us happy. That's what makes us powerful. That's what makes us successful. So if you're not on a path to be successful, what are we doing? So that's what the corporate entrepreneur is all about. And I look at this and you can say, well, what are you talking about, old man? And I would say, I've been in this business for 34 years, and I've been through every up and down in the marketplace. I've seen people jump out of windows. I've seen crazy stuff happen. I've seen people just totally frustrated and go and become farmers and out of high-tech jobs. That's not the place you want to be. I mean, when I started, I used to say, I never did a job for less than $1 billion. And now you've got 10, 12 contractors, chumming for a $50 million contract. Okay, hey, that takes a certain amount of talent to go do that, but God, it's just really changed. It put different stresses, different pressures on how we play, how we show up, and what we do. So as you consider, given all that sort of stuff, what do you do? How do you get what you want? Because if you're in those meetings, if you're not happy, if you're white knuckling into work and you hate your boss or whatever, and I'm not saying that's a rampant thing, but of course hyperbole is always my stress. But anyway, but what do you really want? What must you have to be absolutely fulfilled? What must you have to have it all? What would you sit down and say to your father or to God or whatever, and say, I got it all because I did this? That's what the entrepreneur is all about. Because I'm trying to tap what's inside of all of us to power up through our organization. Why is that important? Because, look, things change. Companies get bought, sold, ground up, go down, disappear. That happens. It's life. But the question is, can you afford to be a victim to that? Because if you're not prepared for that shift, then where are you? Right? It's not going to happen. You're going to be toast. So the real thing is, how do you spend every minute? Because you get paid the same. I hate that phrase, but I'll use it. You get paid the same to be on the job. So if you improve your skills and your ability, given what the target you have is, and you improve the bottom line of your company, I think you win. I think it's a win-win. And that's what you'd like to have. And so whether you're on your way up or out or wherever you want to go, or want to go build, start your own company, why not take an advantage of the opportunity to learn, develop your skills, hone your skills, test things to be able to try to make an impact on your company to make a difference. Because I'm telling you, people say that a house is the biggest investment anybody will ever make in their lives. And I would say the most important investment that anyone will make in their lives is themselves. So let me just walk through the corporate entrepreneur process, and just really quickly, and then we'll talk about how we can connect and move forward. But anyway, the Reframe Your Game, the corporate entrepreneur, is about the gap, the gift, the game, and the go. And it starts with the pit. And the pit is, sorry guys, it's where we are now. We're not in a perfect place. It's the way it is. So where are you now? You're unempowered. And my handwriting sucks. You're unempowered, you're underutilized, you're dispassionate. Pick all the things you are. And I'd ask you to sit down and really think about it. Just take a deep breath, sit down and think about it. That's on this kind of a trajectory here. So where do you want to be? What do we want to be out here is in the possibility. What does nirvana look like? What does your perfect world look like? Where are you and your family just ecstatic? Where do you go to work every day and you're killing it, rocking? You are so passionate that nobody can stop you. That's where you want to be. So my challenge to you is how do you get from here to here? So what the corporate entrepreneur does is we break it down, we create a roadmap for y'all, and we work with you, intensely work with you to create that roadmap so you can execute it. It's measurable. You're accountable. We're with you working through it all that way because we want you to be there. Because out here, you have control, you have dollars, you have power, and you have choices. And I got to tell you what, out of all those things, I mean, money's cool, all that sort of stuff, control's cool, but if you don't have any choices, you're doomed. So what we do, we call it the gap, the gift, the game, and the go. So in the gap, we want to understand the challenges or the disparities between you and what skills you need to be able to do your mission and your company. What are the gaps? What's not happening? Where are the zeros going on that they're there and everybody's cool with it, but it makes no sense? Then we go into the gift, and that's where we start boring in on skill set and mindset. Because, unless you change your skill set, understand what your skill set is and what you have to change there and what your mindset is, because your mind, God, if you're afraid of something, you're afraid of snakes, you see a snake, you freak out. God, you got to get around that so you can in fact say that nothing's going to stop me from that, because the mind will stop you bigger than shit. It just will. The skill set will stop you when you simply say, I'm not willing to do something. I'm not willing to try to bring that on to my talent base, put that arrow in my quiver to go do that. The game is pretty simple. It is the decision, commit. This is what you're going to do. You can shoot me, you can set me on fire, I don't care. That's what you're going to do. And we detail it out in excruciating detail, because that's important to you, because that's all we care about, you getting to the possibility, because this sucks. That feels awesome. This affects every area of your life. By the way, this does too. How's your marriage going to be if you achieve that possibility? How are your relationship with your kids? You want to go to the gym, you want to go just crank up so you're impassioned, powered in every way, just going to go every day rock? Yes, perhaps. And then the go. Here's the execution. And this is, okay, let's go do this. And that's pretty much what it is. And so what I'm offering is my 34 years of experience in adapting to changing markets, adapting to crazy stuff that happens and that gets done, to be able to walk you through this process, coach you, work with you to get you where you want to be, where you're committed to be. And this is not for the idle or the lame kind of folks. This is for people who really are committed to getting it done. So let me just give you a little story about this in miniature. I met with a young man. He had a vice president's job, director's job, and his job was to do all the new business development, assessment, the pipeline, and all that sort of stuff, and to walk things through their pipeline. They insisted that they had to have this incredible 50-step process that they had to go through to qualify a bid. And these were on very small, very quick hit kinds of opportunities. And so he was sitting there and he had all the things lined down his board. He had all these boxes and stuff like that. And he was trying to make that process fit into a very, a 1 pound bag. So what I said, look, what do you really want? So he said, okay, I want this to be done in this amount of time. So I said, okay. So I sat there on his board and I mapped out, here's what has to happen. So here's what makes sense. This is all you need. He said, absolutely. I said, now how do you sell this? And so his position was, well, I'll go in and I'll tell these people they don't know what they're doing. And I said, stop. Look, you need to let them know that they have pain now. They all share a common pain. And that for them to get to their objective, which is to get through this process quickly, they need to make some decisions about how to change things. And so what you need to do is you need to bring them on your team, bring them over to your way of thinking, then walk them through the possibility. So I'm here to tell you, same thing. It's pain. This is what's killing us, guys, to possibility. So as we work through this process with you, you can work through this process with your company and be very influential. So right now, today, the CEO moved his office down next to this fellow's office. And they interface every day because he changed the game. So now, what does his resume look like? Hey, I was in there, I did stuff, and I'm good? No. His resume says, I rocked, I changed the world. And now, again, whether he wants to go up or out or run his own company or whatever, he's got something he can point to versus just updating a resume and saying, yeah, that was last year. So again, this is again the introductory briefing on how we're going to do this Reframe Your Game, the Corporate Entrepreneur. I'm really excited about it, and I would encourage you to click on the link below and fill out the form. I'm offering a half-hour one-on-one session with each of you. That's how committed I am to making this work. I'm committed to your success, and I want to make this work for you. So I'm looking for you to share with me where you want to be, where you are, and where you want to be, and determine whether or not we might be able to make something happen for you all and work with you to make it work. So with that, God bless you all. Have a great night. And John Goyak, the Master Success Coach, signing off. Have a good night. God bless.